Hello everybody, this is Hero. This is Demon Souls, Soul Level 6, NG+, Pure Black World Tendency. This is Archstone. This is the Phalanx Archstone, which means we are heading towards the Tower Knight. This is the second part of Bolitarian Palace, and at the moment I'm just running back to one of these enemies to try and get some hyper mode going so that I can get my Clever Cat Ring and Morion Blade combo going, which is something that I don't think I explained very well in the last video. I said that I got a percentage bonus to my damage with every attack once I had the Clever Cat Ring on and the Morion Blade, but I failed to actually express how much of a difference that is. Basically, the Clever Rat Ring, damn it, have I been calling it the Cat Ring this entire time? Clever Rat Ring gives me an extra approximately 40% damage, and the Morion Blade gives me an extra 60% damage, which means that, well, normally you'd think that maybe that'd give you a 100% damage boost, which is pretty fucking crazy anyway, but it doesn't, because the Morion Blade and the Clever Rat Ring stack multiplicatively, so you get 140% damage boost instead of the mere 100%, which means that normally if, say, I'm using my lava bow and I do about 60 points of damage to an enemy, after I have the Morion Blade and the Clever Rat Ring equipped and they're both active, I'm doing somewhere in the vicinity of 400 to 500 points every arrow. And this, coupled with the fact that you can use the lava bow from very far away and the thief ring to make sure that enemies don't even really know you're there, well, it means that you can basically one-shot kill pretty much any standard enemy in your way, apart from the stronger enemies like the Red Eyes and Blue Eyes Knights. And any Black Phantoms, of course. And depending on if you've been watching or not, you may have noticed there is a dragon flying up and down this bridge, breathing fire onto it. And if you do not kill this dragon, he is going to be a major pain in the ass, because he's going to be breathing fire all the way up the bridge with you, killing some of the enemies, some of them, not all of them, and the problem with that is that he often doesn't kill the crossbowmen, which are the ones that I have troubles with. So what I like to do, and what I like to do after having tested out this entire area without the bow and arrow, is I just want to kill him. I want to kill him here while he's stuck in this loop. See, this is ridiculous. Why should I have to do this? But I guess I didn't have to do it. I chose to make my life easier. And he takes about 11 million arrows. And I'm going to compare this guy to the Hellkite Drake in Dark Souls, the one that guards the bridge that goes from the Undead Burg to the Sunlight Altar and into the Undead Parish. He is an optional sort of mini-boss thing that you don't necessarily have to kill, but if you're having trouble with him, then you can arrow him to death if you have a strong enough bow. Actually, I don't think you can do that in Dark Souls anymore. I think he regens life if you get him down to like a quarter of his health or something ridiculous like that, which I guess they wanted to stop you from doing the same, essentially what I just did to the dragon here, which, you know, is fair enough, because if I were a game designer and I heard that people were shooting 200 arrows into a dragon that was meant to be a constant pest throughout a level, I'd be a little bit upset as well. But if they didn't intend for him to be killed, I'm not sure why they give you a dragon demon soul for killing him, so it's a bit of a conflict there, because it doesn't feel like you should be able to be killed, but I guess it's a reward for if you do, which is fair enough. And also, this is something I've been wondering, if anyone in the comments knows, do you get a point of White World Tendency for killing the red dragon? or 2 points or 3 points or whatever it is, because I killed this dragon and I went and faced the Tower Knight for the first time and I got absolutely smashed because I didn't know how to fight him without taking a hit, basically. So when I took a hit, I had to restart, and I ran out of arrows at some point, I think, and I had to go back to the Nexus and get some more from Stockpile Thomas, because arrows actually weigh something in this game, which is good and bad. I can see why they changed it in Dark Souls, because taking 300 arrows with you is 30 weight on your item burden, which, now, looking back on it, I don't feel so salty about, because I think the fact that they forced you to only take so many arrows, and, you know, also because you only could take so many arrows, it means you could limit what other weapons you could bring with you. They forced you to, if you ran out of arrows, fight like a man, basically, and use the weapons that you'd supposedly been upgrading up to that point. But I wanted to know, if anyone knows if you get any White World Tendency points for killing that dragon, because at the end, after I killed the Tower Knight after a few tries, I looked at my World Tendency and it wasn't on pure black like it usually is just after you kill a boss. I was a little confused by this, because the way up to the boss, I still fought the two Black Phantom Red-Eyed Knights, which strikes me as something that wouldn't happen if you weren't on Black Tendency to begin with. And I know that pure Black Tendency, the World Tendency changes when you move from the Nexus to the actual worlds, and it strikes me that if I got a point in Boletarian Palace and moved back to the Nexus and then moved back to Boletarian Palace, that I'd no longer have pure Black World Tendency anymore, which means that I wouldn't have the Black Phantoms, which means that I wouldn't have fought them on the way to the Tower Knight when I killed him. And what am I doing here? I'm trying to fire through the fog gates like you can with the man-eaters. I tried doing that just on my first playthrough with my Soul Level 6 character, just with the lava bow, trying to see if I can get some cheeky damage on him through the fog gate, because if you stand right up close to it and then zoom in like all the way, the arrow or something the animation of you firing the bow, you lift it like past the fog gate or something, and it fires out past the fog gate, and you can actually hit one of the man-eaters. And if you fire enough arrows, like if you had like a lot of endurance and you brought 1,000,000 arrows, you could just shoot perpetually at the one man-eater that's already spawned behind the fog gate and kill him. Just like in Dark Souls, how you can chuck fire bombs and dung pies and stuff over the wall to hit the Capra demon because he's already spawned there. But this right here, I've got myself into a bit of a shit sandwich, because up above, I've got two of those crossbow guys with their curvy fucking arrows shooting at me, and I had about 3 crossbow guys just standing in front of me right then shooting arrows at me, the same curvy fucking arrows. And I've also got 2 Black Phantom Red-Eye Knights and 1 Blue-Eye Knight down the way. And I've chosen for some reason to take care of this Black Phantom Red-Eye Knight for some reason with the crossbowman up above still shooting at me. So I don't know whether I was trying to prove something to myself, but oh geez, this isn't a good situation. It is so easy to get clipped by one of those arrows, it's not even funny, especially when you're not exactly worrying about them at that point. So right now, it looks like I finally noticed where the arrows are actually coming from, so time to take care of them, see how far the arrows drop off. I do 62 damage with my 140% multiplier, which is ridiculous, but eventually they do die. And it's moments like these that you wonder how From Software thought that you were supposed to take care of this area with any sort of finesse, because if you hadn't killed the dragon, you wouldn't just have crossbow guys shooting at you here, and you wouldn't just have knights waiting for you at the end. You'd also have a dragon breathing fire on the bridge, which is all well and good if you can heal every time you get hit, but I guess I can't really expect them to cater for the people that decide they're going to play the game without actually getting hit. I guess that's a little unrealistic of me and a little unfair as well, because if they were to make a game that balanced, I don't think it'd be that fun anymore, because part of the great thing about playing these games and learning to play them with these sorts of restrictions is that you have to play them differently. You don't play them the same way again. So what you do is you just develop new strategies and you adapt, and I think that's a great way to experience a game. It's something that From Software has done very well, and did very well with Demon's Souls, which came first. I sort of have to keep reminding myself of that, because I played Dark Souls first and I moved back to Demon's Souls, so there are some rough edges here and there, but you can actually see some areas where they did things a little bit better in Demon's Souls, and one of these things is like the bigger sorts of things with the bosses, because in Dark Souls they recycled a few bosses, because they have the Asylum Demon, and they have the Stray Demon, and they have the Fire Sage Demon, which are all basically the same thing, just with a couple of extra attacks in each one, and perhaps a different, like a reskin. The Stray Demon and the Asylum Demon weren't even really reskinned, they were just, I think they were a different shade of brown. But I sure as hell don't remember playing against another Tower Knight in Demon's Souls. I don't remember fighting another Armor Spider, and I certainly don't remember fighting another Flame Lurker, because that would have been all over the message boards. So, well done From Software, because this was probably a lot more focused than Dark Souls in some aspects. And not just in the big aspects like the bosses, but... Excuse me if you heard that. That was someone in the kitchen dropping something very loud and very heavy. It's all okay. But what I was saying was it's also the little things, like in Demon's Souls you emit light, and in Dark Souls you emit light as well, so that you light up your surroundings, because some of these areas are really, really, really dark, which is a good idea, because you don't want to be giving the player a torch or anything, although in Dark Souls 2 you're going to be getting torches, so I guess they went back on that philosophy a little bit. But in Demon's Souls, if you look closely, you have a little glowing stone on your belt, and it's called, I don't think it's called an Augite of Guidance, but I think it's like a soul stone or something stupid like that, but it's actually in your item list, so you can look at it and it says it emits a dull light because it's filled with the power of souls and blah 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 blah. But there's nothing like that in Dark Souls. In Dark Souls your character just seems to glow like he's a nightlight for no reason, and from nowhere as well. Like he doesn't glow from under his skin or anything, he just emits light. It's quite strange. This is my first attempt against the Tower Knight. The first part, taking care of all the archers, is pretty boring, so I didn't really say anything, but that's the first thing you got to do. And I made a wrong move, obviously. I died. I came down and ran after him with the dragon longsword, and I said, hey, I'll just run around his side, because I think that's what I remember seeing someone else doing when they were doing him no damage. And I ran around the wrong side. I really, really did. So, I think this is the successful attempt, so once again we're going to have to watch me shoot these crossbowmen in the face or in the chest or whatever. And you can see the damage boost from the Morion blade and the clever rat ring is just a bit ridiculous, because so far away with a bow that I can't even use on New Game Plus, where everything has inflated health values, I can still one-shot things. I think I'm using holy arrows, but still. I think what you're about to see here is either something I obviously can't aim, or just look at that. That was a direct hit to his chest, and it didn't hit anything. It hit the invisible wall in front of some of the geometry there. So I'm going, alright, fucking shoot. So I think I just clipped his bicep then, and the game decided that I was allowed to continue. Fine, you've cheesed this enemy, just go and kill your boss already. So I stood there to make Tower Knight to go back to his original position because he can't see you anymore. And then I realised that I had to run around his right side, or his left side actually. And the thing with Tower Knight is that I think it takes a specific number of hits, either with like a small weapon it takes 3, and with the big weapon I think it takes 2, but all you have to do is run up, hit his ankles until they're really leaking like that with that weird white stuff. I think it's meant to be souls or whatever, but you hit him enough and he falls over, and then you hit his head and you 3-shot him if you're in hyper mode and you're using the crescent falchion like I am. So Demon was destroyed, you revived, and I'm thinking yay, because that took me about 8 tries just getting used to him and occasionally dying along the way to him, getting hit by crossbow bolts and all that. So I used the lava bow, the crescent falchion +5, and we're looking at my stats to make sure I'm level 6, and then god damn it, I am in not pure Black World tendency. So I'm sorry guys about this one. This is my first time actually deciding to manipulate all of the world tendencies, and I think that it was because I killed the dragon. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it was because I killed the dragon, and then I went back to the Nexus and I came back with some more arrows. But yeah, so I'm sorry about that, but it didn't exactly look like it would have taken any more of a hit, the Tower Knight, when he was down. So this is the end of the second episode. It's sort of a more tame and I guess boring episode than the last one, but I promise the next one's going to be getting much better. So I will thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.